Hey guys, Marsinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so earlier today, we finally got an update about the Part 2 LR, and it is of course the LR BULMA. So I'm sure you've seen the news come out already, probably seen a bunch of people talking about it. There's been a lot of discussion about her on Twitter already today. Unfortunately, as seems to happen very often these days, this news dropped while I was at work. So I've had to wait until I've come home in the evening to record my thoughts about this unit. So I thought we would make this unit a little bit of a, not so much a reaction to the news, because the news has been out for a while now, but this banner is potentially going to be coming out tomorrow. As far as I know, we're expecting a data download sometime within the next like 6 hours. And then very similar to the release of Super Buu on JP, the banner is potentially going to drop only a few hours after the data download, right? Because the sales reset today. And Dokkan usually, I think they've kept up this trend for a very long time now, usually is never at a point where there are no sales available. So the sales expire because they were the sales that were added for Part 1. The data download will happen, the new sales will come out with the release of this banner. Depending on the time, because obviously it is a dual celebration, the banner should come out on both versions at the same time. Hopefully we'll be treated like we were with the Part 1, and they'll follow the same sort of schedule that JP usually does, where they release the sales before the banners actually come out. So that means we'll be able to buy the stones and then have them ready to go when the banner drops. So we're going to talk about the unit a little bit and then discuss whether or not she is going to be worth summoning for, because obviously, as always with this time of year, depending on whether you're a JP or a global player, is probably going to affect your thoughts about summoning based on what is coming up in the near future, as well as the actual maximum use you can get out of the unit, right? Because there's some units on JP that are definitely going to be having a great time with this BULMA on the team, right? Like anything revolved around the anniversary is obviously going to be getting some great buffs with a unit that is such a fantastic support unit. So we'll go through what she does very quickly. Like I say, I assume most of you guys at this point have probably seen a bit of the news about her already, but she's a Dragon Ball Seekers or DB Saga lead for 4 key and 150, so obviously this confirms. Unfortunately, my prediction, I was hoping the Part 2 LR would be a Carnival LR, so we could see the return of STR Carnival Goku, but that is not going to be the case. So with this leader skill, that means she's going to be a yellow coin LR banner. So straight away, I know that's going to put some people off, because if you're free to play or a low spender, yellow coin banners are generally not worth summoning for. Which is tough, because then it's very difficult to build up yellow coins to then get those LRs later, right? But it is a bit of a tricky one. But she is very, very good, right? She has an entrance animation. We'll check out the animations after this. She gets 3 key and guards for 7 turns, which is obviously very strong. 4 key and attack and defense 177 is her base. So that means in this first 7 turns, she's actually giving herself 7 key, which is really good. She randomly changes key spheres other than STR to Rainbow. She gets -7% damage reduction at the start of each turn up to 77%. So that does mean she's not going to be fully built up until turn 11, which most events in the game don't really reach that much anymore. Although we are getting a burst mode for the Legendary Goku event, which is going to be super, super fun. I actually can't wait for that. So that's going to be very interesting. But what this means is after 7 turns, when her guard is run out, she's going to have what? On turn 7, she will already have 49% damage reduction. And obviously on turn 7, she actually still has guard. So if she was on turn 7, the next time she appears is actually going to be turn 9, and she's going to have 63% damage reduction to make up for the fact that she doesn't have guard anymore. So that is pretty good. She gets an extra attack and defense 17% with each orb obtained, so she is a nuking style unit. She changes orbs, which is obviously good, creates rainbow orbs. Her active skill also is going to play off of this very nicely. She gets 77% extra attack if you pick up 3 orbs, and then all allies key +3, attack and defense 37%, self-excluded for 2 turns with 5 or more key spheres obtained. So this is crazy, right? Because this means if you pick up 5 orbs, which is pretty easy to do when she herself is making rainbow orbs, and one of her best link partners is going to be Physical Path to Power Kid Goku, who also makes rainbow orbs. So picking up 5 orbs of her shouldn't be too difficult. And not only is she giving the other 2 units on the rotation a buff, but then all the units on the next turn get a buff as well. So you imagine a situation where you have like LR Piccolo fully built up next to STR Piccolo on the other turn, getting support from STR Piccolo already, maybe another support unit in slot 3, and then he's also getting this extra support from her from the previous turn. Like, he is going to go absolutely ham. So this support is going to be really, really good. And then if you get 7 orbs, she gets a guaranteed additional super attack. And if we look at her super attack effects, which I think are on the next page, she greatly raises attack and defense on both of her supers. So that's a 50% defense raise. Her 18 key has a built-in 50% chance to crit. So as an STR unit, she gets free level 5 crit in the hidden potential, which is a separate 10% chance. So if you do pull dupes, you just want to go full additional and then the rest dodge. Like, she needs no crit whatsoever other than the free level 5 that she gets. And then her active skill, she summons Shenron. It can be activated from the 7th turn, so it's quite a while till you can use it. So there will be some events where you just actually won't see this, right, because they'll be too short. But when you use it, changes the entire field to STR orbs, which means if you picked them again, remember she's a nuking style unit, so that's her picking up like 25 orbs. She gives all allies 7 key, attack and defense 17%, and attacks effective against all types. So she makes every unit on the rotation attacks effective against all types. So if you're using her as a floating unit in slot 3, imagine your favourite rotation in the game right now. Maybe it is LR Piccolo and STR Piccolo. Maybe you're on JP and it's like the 8-year anniversary LRs. And then imagine them getting not only this extra support, they're getting extra key. So if they're LRs, you're pretty much guaranteed they're going to get their 18 key, right? You're pretty much guaranteed they're going to get 24 key. But then they're also going to be effective against all types, which is a ridiculous amount of extra damage. And 17% support might not sound like a lot, but it's an active skill buff, like B-Pan, so it's applied on top of everything else they already have on the turn, like links and support. So even though it's only 17%, it will make a very noticeable difference. So she is actually cracked. Like, she's super, super good. If you're getting 7 orbs, which isn't too difficult, she's getting a guaranteed double super. I've seen calcs of her like next to Kid Goku. I think they are done with her being like Rainbow level 10 links, but after a double super, she's getting to like close to 1 million defense, and she's going to have damage reduction building up over that whole time as well. So she's pretty crazy, right? Let's check out her animations here. So we'll start off.
Should be around here.
So yeah, Bulma out looking for the Dragon Balls. So this is her 12 key super. I love how detailed this is. Like, look at the zoom in. She pulls out the strap, and then there you go. So I feel like that has some hilarious meme potential. In fact, it's so detailed with the actual like weapon loading animation. Pretty funny. And then yeah, Oolong turns into a rocket, and then pulls out another capsule. Boom, busts out the rocket launcher. And then yeah, this is the active skill.
Your wish has been granted. Farewell.
And there you go. I like how there's no audio for the wish, because the wish is essentially like make all of my allies super effective and create a bunch of rainbow orbs. Create a bunch of STR orbs for me. So yeah, she seems like she is incredibly good. Now, if we take a look at, this is the Part 2 LR banner from last year with the Goku and Gohan. As with a lot of LR banners, right, the lineup was not great. Both the other LR Gohans were on here, who were both, like, I would almost argue, well, Int Gohan can still be used. I was going to say unusable, but Gohan can still be okay. Heart Virus Goku still pretty good at that time. STR Cell obviously was good. In fact, hadn't he just come out? Or was he the side banner unit for someone else? Was he the side banner unit for Cell? If so, that's kind of crazy that he was featured on that banner. But yeah, the banner wasn't particularly great. However, because this is going to be dropping on both versions at the same time, this banner that just came out recently on JP, the Super Boo banner, this has kind of set a new format for yellow coin LR banners, where there are only 7 featured SSRs, and 3 of them are LRs. And obviously Janemba still pretty decent, Super 17 unfortunately not so much, and Super Boo obviously was the new LR. And to be honest, Boo Piccolo, he's not really usable. I mean, you could skate by as long as he dodges. And Janembu's still pretty decent. And then these 2 Gotenkses just got easy A's on JP when this banner came out. So this banner lineup, honestly, is not actually that bad. So the Part 2 LR banner should be of this format, because it's going to be both versions at the same time. Be a bit weird if they reversed the format of the JP LR banner. They could, but I'm expecting the banner to look like this. Now, in terms of who the other 2 featured LRs could be, I'm not too sure, right? Because we don't exactly have a ton of summonable LRs from the Dragon Ball Saga. But remember, Bulma's one of her leads is Dragon Ball Seekers, so we could end up with like the GT trio on there or something. I mean, they're still okay with their easy A, but not like top tier. But this does make the banner a lot better. So this does make yellow coin banners a little bit more of an attractive principle, because they have less featured units. 3 of the 7 are LRs, which is pretty good. So this banner could be pretty decent. We probably won't find out what the lineup is going to be. Well, we actually won't find out the full banner lineup until it drops in game. When we get the data download, we should get this like header image, which will show them and the 2 other featured LRs, but we won't know who the featured like random side banner units are. And then the reason I have this tab up here is if you're on global and you're tempted to summon, right, because this unit is going to be crazy. One thing that she is going to be super, super good for is the Anniversary Sin boss. You guys probably do check out Truth's videos every now and then if you watch my channel. Maybe you don't watch any JP content, I don't know. But once the Anniversary Sin boss comes out, he is the hardest boss in the game. He has an AGL phase midway through where this Bulma will still have guard, and then his final phase where he does a ton of AoEs and hits like a truck, he's physical. So by the time her guard has run out, she's got type advantage and built up a bunch of damage reduction. So she is going to be insanely good. If you are on global and you pull this LR, it is going to make doing that Sin event way easier for people who may potentially struggle to beat it. But one thing to think about is this is the Worldwide Celebration Carnival LR for global, and you can see there is Goku and Gohan, which means they're going to return for global at the end of August / beginning of September. And the reason why this is pertinent for global is if we look at the JP version of the banner, they had Great Ape Vegeta on here instead, because the Part 1 banner for Carnival Goku had STR Kaioken Goku, because they were the Part 2 LRs for the anniversary. So for global, we're going to get the anniversary at the end of July, which means this unit would be, for JP, will be either AGL Goku or Int Kid Gohan. But on global, they'll have only come out like a month before this, so they won't be on this banner. So Bulma should be on whoever the Part 2 Carnival LR for the Worldwide Celebration is. So that is something to bear in mind. If you don't want to summon for her now, because you're saving your stones either for the anniversary or the Worldwide Download Celebration, in theory she will be featured on the Part 2 Carnival LR banner. So, and obviously these Carnival banners do have a ton of value, right? 5 featured LRs. Carnival banners are kind of going to be the way to go, because Carnival LRs are generally much better than yellow coin LRs, so you want to kind of start building your stockpile of the Carnival coins, as well as actually summoning for the Carnival LRs themselves. So if you really want Bulma, but you're really kind of trying to hardcore save for the anniversary or the Worldwide Celebration, it's probably going to be worth skipping her and potentially picking her up on this banner, right? Because, like, think about when the Worldwide Celebration comes out. Like, this LR Metal Cooler, when he dropped, was one of the best units in the game. I don't know where I would put him, but he was easily top 10, right? And she's going to be on his banner. So we're potentially going to get another Legendary Summon Carnival that has a new top 10 LR, and then 4 other featured LRs, one of whom will be Bulma. Which then obviously means she'll also be available with the Carnival coins as well. So Bulma is absolutely cracked. I think there are arguments for her being the best unit in the game, but she is at a bare minimum like top 5, right? She's providing a ton of support. Even if you're floating her off rotation, as long as you're picking up 5 orbs, she's supporting the turn she's on and the following turn. And then one thing I didn't really talk about was her categories. So she's on Dragon Ball Seekers and Dragon Ball Saga, obviously. Peppy Gals, Youth, Earthlings, but Earthbred Fighters and Power of Wishes. So Earthbred Fighters, or Warriors Raised on Earth, pretty much has an argument for being one of the best teams in the game now, right? Because it has basically every Goku, every Gohan, Piccolos. There are so many crazy units on here. And some of the support units that are available on this team, like Tech Yajirobe, the STR Piccolo, like this team is going to have some of the best support units on it. And then Power of Wishes, obviously on Global we got this category early because it's part of the Saiyan Day God Goku leader skill, but both the 8th anniversary LRs feature this as part of their leader skill. So if you go into the 8th anniversary for Global and you pull both of those units and you have BULMA, she's going to be an insane support unit on their team. And if you can time it right, so you're getting like the Spirit Bomb, whether it's the physical one from their standby or the revival from the GT one, and it just so happens to be on the turn where you've popped Bulma's active skill, then that Spirit Bomb is not only going to get a damage buff, it's going to be super effective against all types. So those units are going to be absolutely insane. So whilst I wouldn't necessarily call... I mean, I kind of would call Bulma a must-summon unit, but if you're like a free-to-play or low spender, it is always kind of tricky deciding to summon on yellow coin banners. But I think the way I would word it more than saying like a must-summon is that she is just a like super high-value unit. Like having her just makes your box better, makes your account better. Like any team that she can be run on, you're running her on that team. She's that good. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Will you be summoning? Will you be skipping? I think Bulma definitely deserved a really strong card in the game. She technically is the most important character in the series, right? Arguably not compared to Goku, but arguably equal to Goku at the same time. Because if you think back to the very beginning of OG Dragon Ball, if Bulma hadn't gone into the mountains looking for the 4-star Dragon Ball, like the whole story potentially wouldn't have happened, right? Goku might have just lived in the mountains by himself for his whole life, right? Until the first event where someone blew up the earth, right? I don't know. Maybe never would have met Master Roshi. I'm trying to think the first like sort of calamity event that would have occurred, whether it's like the Red Ribbon Army taking over the world or Demon King Piccolo taking over the world, and obviously Goku would still technically be around, but no one would have trained him at that point. So Bulma is arguably the most important character in the series. None of the events of the series really happen without her. So her getting a really good card is really good. Her being a support is perfect because obviously she's not a like fighter. So I'm just very, very impressed with this card. And for me, she obviously is a must summon. So hopefully I don't get screwed over. Last year for Goku and Gohan, I think it took me like 2k stones to pull one copy of them. So hopefully you have a bit of an easier time this time. But let me know what you guys think of her down below in the comments section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.